I am a man of honor, integrity, and promise. I pursue all righteousness. I love my family. I will not put my family in harm's way. There is nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing. I am an ambassador of hope and a man of discipline. I am a man worth following. I am a TYRO.
Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
And these principles were things that we learned through our own journey of 15 years through incarceration. Actually, Ron's in prison on the inside, while my kids and I were basically doing time on the outside, and a decade of welfare.
I'll tell you what, though, what we were able to learn and overcome, we were able to not only put in a bottle, if you will, but really help empower others to have the same type of outcome or greater than what we have. And that's been our journey, and that's our mission, is to help people experience something, but have it turn into an event in their life and not a lifestyle.
So that they can walk in a place of feeling this incredible joy, be at peace, and know what they want in life, know what gets them up in the morning, and fight every day to have that. And so today, we're actually going to be talking, we're going to have a special guest today. We're going to be talking about branding.
What does it mean to brand?
And we don't mean like a hot thing, this is mommy.
Well, my
right?
brand, the brand 250397, that's a type of branding, right? Formerly known as, and forever I will be branded a felon or forever be
formerly known as
criminal, convict, whatever you want to go by.
Man of conviction. Now he's a man.
Man of conviction.
That's right.
And so today we're going to talk about what does it mean to have your own brand, and what does the world see when they see the brand that you're portraying?
Or even what is branding? Because oftentimes we don't even realize. See, everything that we do, the way that we live our lives, tells everyone around us who we are and what we want. So
and what we represent.
Right, and what we represent. So if what you're doing doesn't say what you are or who you are, it's time to change what you're doing. And so today we're going to bring with us a resident expert, which is our director of marketing and public relations, and he's going to be talking about what does it mean to brand something. And then he's going to help you understand what does it mean to brand yourself, how do you even do that, and why is it important?
It's important. It's very, very important. so anyways.
This will be good for you too.
It's going to be good because every day we got to put ourselves out there.
Right.
Every day we're being interviewed. Every day all eyes are on who? On us.
Right.
To see if we are who we say we are. Because once you have the label and once people know your past, you're going to always be watched. You're going to be seen. Did he really change? Is what he's doing today really, is he a man of good character? Is he really a person worth following?
So when we come back, we are going to introduce to you Jeremy Otte, who is the director of our director of marketing and public relations. And so you are going to really enjoy learning from him. This man knows a ton, so stay tuned. We will be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions. To own it, you'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we are talking about branding.
Today we have a great special guest, a dear friend of ours. His name is Jeremy Otte with us today to talk about what does it mean to brand yourself and why is it important to really put your best foot forward.
But before we get into that, Jeremy, I'd like you just share a little bit about who you are, where you come from, kind of, what's your professional background, and what do you do now?
Okay, well, thanks for having me here today. My professional background is in marketing and communications. I've actually done that for about 13 years, off and on. I've done it for newspaper industry, have done it for printing industry, the nursing home industry. So I've had a lot of different experiences, and I've learned a lot along the way.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
what do you do now?
Now I'm here at Ridge Project and handle marketing, communications, public relations, branding, everything that goes along with that.
So when you say public relations, you even got to handle my public relations. Is that?
That's true. That's the biggest challenge I have.
Okay, all right.
Ron is the biggest challenge
That's
for
awesome.
all of us, Jeremy. So
Yep,
you are
yep.
not alone.
That's awesome. But Jeremy, let me ask you this. So, what drew you into the TYRO world? What did you hear about the Ridge Project and TYRO to really want to leave
The corporate world.
the corporate world to come into a nonprofit
Yeah.
where there isn't a lot of glamour, there isn't a lot of lights here.
There's not a lot of money.
Yeah, not a lot of
Right,
money.
Let's keep it real.
Yep.
Right. Well, in my previous lines of work, most of my work had been working with things, and I really wanted to work with people. I got into that a little bit at the nursing home, actually a lot at the nursing home. But it was a different atmosphere than what I wanted to be in. I wanted to be somewhere where I could have an impact on people's lives that they could realize, from now until the future, not being at the end of someone's life. And you don't really have an impact in that. You can impact their quality of life, but not really their progress or their direction. So
that's a good.
TYRO, I had not heard a lot about it, but when I did, I was hooked on it. Character and development, things like that. That's all something that I've always wanted to do.
Wow. Well, we are so glad to have you part of our organization, part of our TYRO family, because you've helped us go from one place to another, really understand what it means to take one brand and stick with that one brand versus
Which is Jeremy's constant battle with us.
Yep.
Is okay, guys. Does this fit the brand? Does this fit the brand? Which is
Right.
great. Because here's a man that makes us better. And that's why we wanted to have him here on our show, so that he can share what he knows to help make you better too.
So when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more with Jeremy about branding, but really let's break it down. Let's focus in. What is the definition of branding? So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina, and today we are talking about branding.
And we have with us a dear friend of ours and a co-worker, an acquaintance, a professional acquaintance. What do we call you?
The infamous Jeremy Otte. That's what we call him.
And so Jeremy, we've been talking about branding, but really, can you give us, if you were to define branding, what would that be? What would that look like?
Branding is everything that you do. It's way more than just a logo. It's way more than an image. It really is everything that you do for your business. It's everything from communications to your image, to your logo, to how people perceive you. I would almost say there is nothing that you do that's not branding.
Wow.
That's how I would define it.
So life is...
What about the way you dress?
The way you dress,
Yeah.
the way your employees dress, the way that you dress, the way that you speak, the way that you portray yourself in public, even in private. If you're on the phone, the tone of your voice. That's all branding. It really is that deep of a process.
Wow.
So don't take nothing for granted. You know, you're constantly putting yourself out there. And how do you want to be perceived every day?
That's right. And that's the challenge with branding is how you want to be perceived is not always how your customers or your clients will perceive you. And so that's the challenge is, you know, I say in marketing, a lot of times we do coding and decoding of messages, and that's kind of what branding is. You know, you have an image in your mind or in your head, a vision of what your brand is and what you want to portray, but your customer or your client doesn't have that image. So how you get from point A to point B is basically coding and decoding. You're putting a message out there, and you hopefully they decode it the same way that you've coded it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so let's take it. Let's bring it home a little bit. So our code is TYRO, right? And so we're talking about the TYRO pledge, the TYRO declaration. I am a man of honor. I'm a man of good character. You know, I will not put my family in harm's way. There's nothing that I won't do, right? How's that going?
There's nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing.
right?
There's
And
nothing I won't do to do the right thing. That same thing.
Yeah. So, but all these things and these cliches and these powerful sayings that we have and we say them, we're defining who we are, right? We're standing up for something honorable, something of good virtues, right? Nobility. But what if, can we fake it till we make it? What if you're not really good at those things and you're saying them? Is that something?
Well, I would say that you don't want to fake it till you make it. I would say if you have to fake it till you make it just to get there, that's better than not doing it at all.
Okay.
But you really don't want to do that because people will see through that. People can tell authenticity. They'll
So-
know whether you're being true to your image or not.
So, because we're dealing with individuals who come with a colorful background, checkered past, where they come from a place where they're not going to tell everybody their story or the brand that they've created, and they're trying to rebrand themselves.
Right.
So, we have any advice on how to
Like, where do you even start with that? So let's say that my brand is white paper, but every time I used white paper, there was always ink and everything all over it. And so I came to you and I said, okay, everybody knows me as the person that tried to have the best white paper, but ended up being a mess all the time. Now I've decided I want to rebrand, and I'm going to go be teal. How do I even start that?
Well, first of all, you have to remember that what you originally were, you can't erase that, and you need to embrace it, accept it, and understand that going forward, that's part of who you are.
That's part of being a TYRO.
That's part of being a TYRO, and you don't want to just try to cover over that, because if you try to cover over all of those colors with teal, you're going to get something different. So you really have to accept that part, and then just understand that I'm moving forward. I'm going on to something bigger and better, and that brand is teal. That's what I want to put out
Wow.
there. And so, it really starts on an internal level. You really have to know who you are and where you're coming from, and then where you want to go. And you have to own your past, and you also have to know that going forward, that's not defining you.
So our past does not define who we are, but it will qualify us for something greater if we let it. So by owning our story, our past, and allowing that to not to define who we are, but to allow us to catapult into something greater.
To qualify us.
To qualify
right?
us.
Right.
Yes.
That we're rebranding despite
Despite that.
the ugly story or whatever it may
Yes.
be.
But we're not pretending like that doesn't exist.
Absolutely. And actually, I would go even farther and say you could build off of that, and you have life experiences that others don't have. And so how you create your new personal brand could be built upon your past trials and experiences that you've had.
Well, in case in point, right? And so we come back, we want to talk about how to empower others to get over that hurdle, right? Because it's hard to want to go back into memory lane and to deal with guilt and shame and things you may have done to end you up in prison,
Right.
End you up, the people you hurt. But how do you take that experience and turn it into an event and not a lifestyle? But then be honest and truthful where you can tell your story and help others get a better perspective of life and really begin to live a TYRO way of thinking, a better life here in America.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, because when we come back, Jeremy's going to help us really understand how to begin the rebranding process and why it's important, and give you some specific tips and tools that you can use right where you are. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we're talking about branding.
With Jeremy Otte. So Jeremy, we've been hitting a lot about self-branding
And what does it mean?
Yeah, what it means to really own your story. You know, own your past, the brand that you used to live by, and you want to present something new. So can you help us really understand the how? How does somebody do that? You know?
Yeah, well, kind of what I was talking about before is it has to start internally. You have to have a vision for where you want to go. And that's step number one. You know, once you know in your head what your next move is, what your brand is going to be moving into the future, then you know, there's no internal conflict. And so that's step number one. Going from there, it's really just living up to a standard. Again, branding is everything that you do. Branding is everything from the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you portray yourself, the way that you interact, the way that you shake someone's hand. You know, the information that you use on social media, the information that you use, you know, when you're speaking with others. And so all of that has to be consistent. Consistency is the biggest thing with branding because if you're inconsistent, people know, and people know that what they're getting is not authentic.
Wow, that's a great word, consistency.
Love that word.
You know, because practice makes permanent in the TYRO world, whether that's positive or negative, and consistency is what we qualify one of the 8 C's in our world, where you know, you might come out of penitentiary, you might come out of a divorce, you might come out from, maybe you had 3 jobs in the last 6 months and you're rebranding yourself. You know what, the next job I get, I know I'm gonna get past probation, I'm gonna show up on time, I'm gonna show out. And so you're having that eternal battle that's taking place, and you're determined that I'm gonna have victory over this part of my life. Yep. And those who are looking upon me, they're gonna see that I've changed because I'm gonna be consistent in this new me.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
So since you've been with us, you've undergone a couple of rebranding. We've undergone some rebranding, especially when we think about the very first TYRO workbook compared to what it looks like now, which is absolutely phenomenal. So how long or difficult of a process is it for somebody to say, okay, you know what, I want to rebrand, I want to look different, I want the world to perceive me as different. Like, what kind of process is that? Is that something that they just wake up the next day and say, okay, the world's going to see me different?
No, it's not something that happens right away. It could be a lengthy process depending on how deep your networks are, how much of a difference you want to change one brand from the other. So it definitely could be a weeks-long, months-long, even years-long process. But it's important to know that the process starts right away. It does start. The moment that you decide it starts, and you don't go back.
You know,
Wait, and what?
you don't
You
go
don't-
You
back.
don't go back. I love that because how many times he has said that? Like, okay, if this is the direction we're going,
We're
then
not-
we go.
Right.
You don't go back.
Right.
This is it. You
I
can't use
heard-
that old font
I
anymore.
heard Denzel Washington say in a movie, I think it was Equalizer, that he made, and in there he's trying to help somebody. He was becoming a guard. He wants to go take the test, but he's overweight, and so he's helping him. And he told the guy who was overweight, he said, "Look, it's not about perfection, it's about progress." Because he was beating himself up because I'm not perfect, I can't do this. And he said, listen, it's about getting started. You started. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And once somebody understands, look, the old you, society might put that label on you, they got the brand on you and they're never gonna take it off, but that's okay. That's them. Let them carry that. Your story does not define who you are, but once you begin to
So-
evolve and go ahead, honey.
Yeah. Oh, I have a question because you said, well, society has that old brand, right? And now
Right.
you're redefining. So give me an idea of how many times do I need to see a new brand, new font or whatever before I associate it with that new product?
Well, in the marketing world, it's usually 7 to 10 times before someone will actually take note of a new product or service. They may see or hear an ad for a particular product or service 7 to 10 times before they even know that it's different, before they even realize it's something new. So it's because the way our brains work, we are complacent. We're always pushing things out that we don't need. And so I might see you on the street and not know that you've changed as a person.
Yep.
And it might take me seeing you doing the same thing, the same new thing over and over again. I might interact with you 7 times and then finally say, wow, he's really changed.
Right.
But
Well, let me-
up until that point, I may not
It
notice.
didn't register.
Let me bring it
Wow.
home, since I came from prison, right? Before
And I love that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that he's judging, it's that he just didn't notice.
Didn't
he didn't
notice.
have enough
Yep.
interaction. So you see somebody once or twice and they still treat you like you're the same. It hasn't registered
Yep.
with them yet.
So you can't take that personal.
Right, you can't take that personal.
So when I went to prison, there was no such thing as a debit card where you put in a code and you had money on the card. It was always checkbooks or cash, right? In our case, food stamps or no checkbooks and no cash, right?
Yeah,
Back
but
in
when
the
you
day.
came home, you
But
didn't
when
come
I came
home
home,
to
I
food
came home
stamps.
to a debit
There were
card.
no food stamps when you came home.
I know, but I came home to a
I
debit
just wanna
card.
make that point.
And so what I think society, when it transitioned, I don't know if they were conscious when they started. I'm sure people were talking about, wow, we got our cash is now here. We're not carrying cash. We don't have to write checks no more. It's on debit card. And then the brand that I heard the first time I ever used a debit card was when the lady asked me at the teller asked me, would you like cash back?
I was like, no.
You
do
know,
not
first
give
time,
it-
that was a brand. Wait, a brand that coincides with the debit card, even a credit card. And so now something happened recently with us out here with credit cards. They put a chip in them.
That's right.
Right now, I'm
Right.
conscious and I'm watching people go from, without even questioning or anything, there's a sign, please do not swipe, insert credit card if you have a chip. And so I'm watching it now. I watched the transition from people's computers at the stores had to be converted for everybody to accommodate a new brand, a new brand of credit cards.
Right, a
They all
new
have-
brand of security,
Yeah,
right?
in there. And it was so subtle, so smooth that nobody balked at it, nobody complained because you know what? It's a way of life. And they've accepted that security band, that computer chip.
But it took a while.
It did.
Right.
It didn't happen overnight.
That's
Right,
right.
because people we're still swiping.
So-
It's
sorry.
like, no, that's not gonna work, it's
Yes,
not gonna work. You have to.
Yep. Oh, okay. Oh, your machine ready? Yep, it's ready. And people were okay with that transition. Well, I think too with that, what I'm saying is, I said all to say, we have to be okay with the transition. When people don't
Right.
get it right away, that
Right.
I've changed. Why is he still not looking at me like? Why are they still not believing that I've changed?
Right.
Because change takes time.
Right.
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 Yeah, you have to be patient, and I think it's important to remember that society doesn't define you. It's actually more important how you feel on the inside and your vision. That's why it's appropriate to have that vision first, because what you project is what others will eventually see in you.
Wow.
It might take a while.
Right. That's
Wow,
a great
that's
word.
a great word.
So when we come back, we are going to really get Jeremy. We're gonna be very persistent, and we're gonna get Jeremy to give us at least 2 tips of things that you can begin doing right now where you are.
So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And today we are talking about
Branding,
branding.
right? Branding of oneself.
Yep, and we have with us today our local resident expert,
Woo!
Jeremy Otte.
Jeremy Otte.
Give it up for him. Nothing leaves here without him making sure it aligns with our brand. And so every time you see something, you can know that Jeremy Otte's fingerprints are all over it.
Mm-hmm. And that's really good because it's important to know that there's a process.
Right.
Even with great corporations and great organizations, you know, somebody could have just a little bit off and they can throw the entire thing off. Wait, that's not our brand. What happened? How did this happen, right?
Right.
And so it's Jeremy's job here at the Ridge Project to make sure that the message that is being sent is consistent across the board.
So when we think about doing that and we think about things that our viewers and our listeners can actually begin doing now, think about, you know, especially incarcerated parents, incarcerated fathers, what is one thing or two things that they could begin doing right now to rebrand so that as they transition home that it's a little easier?
I would say the first thing is, number one, be impeccable with your word. If you say you're going to do something and maybe you haven't been that person in the past, now's the time to do that because that is what is going to set the tone. If people don't believe you, if people don't think that you're going to follow through, then everything else that follows is just going to be hogwash because they have to know that what's coming out of your mouth is truth. And so you have to set the tone with following up on
That's
what you
great.
say.
So number one, be a man or a woman of your word.
Absolutely. Yep. That's number one. On top of that, you need to remember that this is a process, and it's not necessarily how good you are now because we're all growing, we're all changing, we're all recreating ourselves as we get older and we see fit, and some of us have bigger challenges to do that. But it's not necessarily how good you are now, it's how good that you want to be. You can be anything you want. You can rebrand yourself to anything that you want, but you really have to know where that's going to be, and you really have to have that vision, and then you have to realize that it's not going to happen overnight, so keep that vision in front of you and go after it.
So number one is be a man or woman of your word, and number two is know that this is a process. You know, and I also hear what you're saying in there. Say, don't beat yourself up when you don't get it.
Yep. Have patience.
Have
take your
patience.
time. Yep.
But be consistent.
Yes.
Number two is consistent.
Yeah, consistency is huge. Not just with branding, but with your personal image.
Yeah.
Whatever you're projecting, do it the same way. Do it the right way, but do
Right.
it the same way
Yeah.
every time.
That's awesome. So is there anything else, Jeremy, that you'd like to share with our viewers today? Any words, any advice, anything?
I would just say, I know it's tough out there, especially when you've got circumstances that maybe society does want to label you with. But just remember that it's not about them, it's about your journey, and your journey is personal to you, and everybody is going through a journey. So as you go ahead and create your own brand and move into the future, stay encouraged, stay positive, Look towards the future, don't look towards the past, and just keep moving ahead.
Great word. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So this wraps up our show today on branding, and we just really want to extend our gratitude to you for taking the time to watch us and letting us be part of your journey.
So, Jeremy, thank you so much for being part of TYRO TV.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you, Jeremy.
And for those of you out there, always stay tuned and remember that we are rooting for you.
I am a man of honor.
I am a man of integrity.
I am a man of faith. I am the antidote.
I am a man of discipline. I am a leader.
I am strong.
I am a man worth following.
I am a TYRO.